Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into the August 2025 updates for Microsoft Fabric Warehouse. And let me tell you, there is a ton to unpack from what's normally a pretty sleepy month in tech. So let's just jump right in. You know how August usually is, right? It's the end of summer. People are on vacation. You'd think the tech world would kind of hit the pause button. Not a lot of big releases, just quiet. Well, somebody forgot to tell the Fabric Warehouse team that. They were clearly working overtime because they dropped a whole bunch of really significant features. We're talking improvements across the board, from getting your data in all the way to locking it down.
Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to start with how they're making data ingestion smoother. Then we'll get into optimizing your queries and, importantly, your costs. After that, we'll cover security and governance, see what's new with AI, and finish up with some really cool stuff for developers.
All right, first up, streamlining your data ingestion. This is all about making it way easier and more flexible to actually get your data into the warehouse in the first place.
So, one of the first big things to talk about is support for JSON lines, or JSL. If you haven't used it, it's pretty simple. Each line is a separate, complete JSON object. This makes it absolutely perfect for streaming data or big data workloads. And now, you can query these files directly with T-SQL in Fabric. That's a huge simplification for anyone working with semi-structured data.
The copy job itself got some serious love too. Now you can do things like reset an incremental copy, pull data directly from those JSON sources we were just talking about, and manage the whole thing inside your pipelines. It all just works together better now, giving you way more precise control over the whole process. And hey, if you're moving massive amounts of data, you're probably using AsCopy. Well, the big news here is a game changer. You can now use it to pull data directly from storage accounts that are behind a firewall, straight into OneLake. This is huge. It gets rid of a massive network headache and makes those huge data loads a whole lot safer and easier.
Okay, so your data's in. Great. Now, what about performance? And what about the bill? That brings us to our next section, optimizing queries and costs. These updates are all about helping you work smarter, not harder.
Right. Here's a question I'm sure every single capacity admin has asked themselves. Where in the world is my compute budget going? Like, really going? They can feel like a black box sometimes. Well, now we have an answer. The new item history page. This thing gives you a clear 30-day view of your consumption. You can see trends, you can drill down into specific warehouses or SQL endpoints, and you can finally pinpoint which items are the real resource hogs. It's all about turning that, I wonder, into, aha, there it is. And this next one is a huge quality of life win, especially if you're migrating from SQL Server. Fabric now gets some familiar T-SQL functions, like showPlan.xml and object schema name. What does that mean for you? It means your old scripts are much more likely to just work. It smooths out that migration path and cuts down on a ton of rewrites. All right, let's talk about something super important, security and governance. The new updates here are all about giving you finer-grained control over your data.
And a great way to think about this is with an analogy. Before, you had tenant-level private links. Think of that like putting one giant lock on the front door of your entire house. It's secure, sure. But now you have workspace-level private links. That's like having a separate key for every single room inside the house. You can isolate specific workspaces, maybe the ones with super sensitive data, and make sure they can only be accessed from trusted networks. It's a whole new level of granular control.
Okay, another big governance change, and this one came directly from user feedback, is that they're getting rid of the default semantic models that used to get created automatically. This might sound minor, but it's actually a really big deal for governance. It means no more clutter, more transparency, and you are in full control of your data assets. You decide what gets created, period. And just to show you this isn't just theory, these changes are already having a real impact. Take the new workspace collation settings. A company called Motherson was able to take most of their existing SQL Server scripts and run them in Fabric pretty much as is, with very few changes. That's a massive win, saving them a ton of time and effort. Okay, now for the really futuristic stuff. Let's talk about AI. This section is all about how we're moving away from just writing SQL queries by hand and into a world of conversational, intelligent agents. So, it all started with Copilot, right? We've all gotten used to having that AI assistant right there with us, helping to write SQL, figure out schemas, and just generally explore our data. Then, the next evolution was data agents. This is where you could build your own custom chatbot, basically, that understands your specific business and can answer questions about your data in plain English.
So what's the difference? It's simple, really. Copilot is for the developer. It's your coding buddy. A data agent is for the business user. It's your custom-built expert that knows your data inside and out and can answer their questions without them needing to know any SQL. And here's the big news. Now they work together. You can now create a data agent right from your warehouse, and it integrates with Copilot Studio and the Azure AI Foundry. This is where it gets really wild, because you can create these powerful workflows where multiple agents work together to tackle really complex problems. It's pretty amazing.
Last but not least, let's talk to the developers in the room. This section is all about modernizing your workflow with some fantastic new tools for CI/CD and automation.
Okay, two really big things here. First, scalar functions are now supported in database projects. For any dev, you know what this means. You can finally treat your functions like real code. Source control in VS Code, clean deployments with SQL package, the whole 9 yards. The second big update is that T-SQL notebooks can now have multiple schedulers, and it's all integrated with CI/CD. This gives you so much more flexibility for automation. You can have the same notebook run on totally different schedules for different reasons, and it's all versioned and managed properly. So, wow, we've covered better data ingestion, cost optimization, tighter security, incredible AI advancements, and new developer tools. That's a lot, right? You'd think that would be it for 1 month. But it looks like we're not done yet. The Fabric team is clearly on a roll, building some serious momentum. And it sounds like they're holding back some even bigger announcements for FabCon Vienna. The next big wave is coming. So, the only question left is, are you ready for it?